Good morning, everybody. This is the January 2024 DOVIA meeting. Thanks for coming. Unfortunately, Madam President, Stacy Crane is under the weather today, so I will be chairing the meeting. I'm Michelle Baker, and I'm the Vice President for Marketing. So we want to go ahead and do our brief business meeting before we get started. So Fran, would you like to give a treasurer's report?
Yes, we have $3,267.37. And just to remind you that it's time for renewal of the memberships. $35 individually and $100 for up to 4 people in an agency or organization.
Thank you. So 3267.37.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Does anybody have any notices or events or updates that they want to share before we get started?
I'll just let you include them in your e-newsletter so we can go ahead and get rolling.
Wonderful. I can do that. Thank you for that email. Sarah Gayden, is there anything that y'all want to?
I wanted to share a little bit. I've been making phone calls, trying to set the calendar for 2024, get those field trips, get the information and everything. And I wanted to just I had a note in the spreadsheet about Ronald McDonald House that we'll be visiting, and I kind of wanted just to put that out there. Why we need to collect at 8:30, and then as a group, collect at 8:30, and then as a group, walk up to Ronald McDonald House and enter as one group, because there's infants and children's. It's a whole thing that the director and I can't think of her name. Is it Ruth Ann? She's
Ruth Ann Allen. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's Ruth Ann, and it's just a courtesy thing, that we collect and all enter as one group. And every time that doorbell rings, it it rings in the whole facility, and there's it's like a kind of a thing. So I wanted to throw that out there, and I'm waiting to hear back from 1 to 2 folks, and then hopefully in the next couple of, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I'll have all the way through December. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you. Well, that's great. All right. Any other updates before we jump into the program? Fran did tell me to say, please have paper and a pen because you'll need that, and an envelope. You might need an envelope for later. So, Fran, are you ready to get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready for your PowerPoint now, or do you want to talk first?
Let me just, both of you were on this same kind of presentation, similar presentation last year, personally. And this is the same process that we did last time, only this, I would like you to focus on whatever organization you would like to work with. It's better to have just one organization rather than trying to do multiple ones. So if you do this process, do it for each organization. So today, just right now, pick an organization that you want to think about, and then we're going to go through the process like we did last year for your personal setup. Any questions before we start? The reason Michelle talked about paper is you'll need a piece of paper to write your 15 kind of things that you're going to focus on. And then it's a good idea to put the ones that you separate out. It's a good idea to put them on separate sheets of paper so that you can focus specifically on each goal. And at the end of it, put it in an envelope or put it away, and don't look at it for a couple of months. So that's what that paper and envelope is about. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Okie dokie. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
As we talked about in the past, oftentimes thinking about what your goals are for the future year can be really daunting. It's not that's something that most of us look forward to. So I'd rather think about it in terms of ideas and dreams and wishes and then goals, so that you have some sort of a free thinking of what it is that you'd like to do. Okay, so we'll work on the goals today. What do you think about when you think about making goals? How do you feel about making goals? My thought when I was at the health department and had to do this was that it was very stressful. It was work. It wasn't fun. How do I know what to say? I'm just pretending. They won't happen anyway. I have to do this. I have to do this. Why do I do this? And just no, I don't want to do it. So I thought that might be fun to have a different way to think about it so that we can relax, have a little bit of fun. We can all be much more creative when we are relaxed and thinking about things rather than being stressed about it. So let's make it wishes and desires instead. Yeah, there you go. That'll be good down. Okay, that's fine. She's moving you all around so I can move my so let's make it wishes and desires instead of goals. So what would surprise you? What would you like to do? Let's first of all take a deep breath and just kind of relax. Lower your shoulders. Just kind of relax about it. What would you like to happen for your organization this year? What would I like to happen for my organization this year? Just think about it. What would make my organization better this year? You can write it down if you want, or you can just think about it. But as you look at these pictures, what would I like to happen this year? What would make this whole organization better, which would make my life better? What would make my life easier, more fun, more exciting, and less stressful? How can I find it fun for my organization? How can I find fun for my organization this year? We associate fun and work to be two separate things, but actually, if you're relaxed, your work becomes more fun. It becomes something that you can more easily think about and feel about and work through. So as last year, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. I'd like you to brainstorm 15 things and ideas or desires. Do not ignore that you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough support. Get rid of all the no's that you can think of, because that's what your brain's going to immediately go to. I don't have enough time to do it. I don't have enough money to do it. I don't have enough support. There's a lot of knots in that thought. So brainstorm, starting now. I'll give you 5 minutes and then maybe 5 minutes more to brainstorm 15 things. This is the most difficult part. 15 things, ideas, dreams, or desires that you want to happen in 2024. Time starts now. Okay, you've got about 2 minutes left. You've got about a minute left. Okay, that was either the longest 5 minutes in the world or the shortest 5 minutes in the world. And hopefully you got some ideas down on paper. Take a look at what you've written and what stands out. What's brighter and what's most interesting to you? Pick 3 or 4, or 2, or just pick a couple. Doesn't matter how many. No more than 4. And just put a check mark by them or indicate which ones you choose out of the list that you made. Don't overthink it, just real quickly. Okay, now choose one. Pick one of the group, any of them. This is where a second sheet of paper is helpful. At some point, you need to transfer that idea onto a separate sheet of paper. And pretend it already happened. Write it down. Write down the first one that you looked at that looked brighter to you. Write it on a separate sheet of paper or somewhere away from the other list. And pretend it already happened. It's already done. Make a note of how it feels to be doing it, to experiencing it already finished, already successful. Describe how it affects your organization or you. What's better? What's easier? What's more fun? Pretend it's already happened. Okay, choose another one from your list. Choose the second brightest one and pretend it's already happened. Write it down separately on a sheet of paper. Choose the second one, pretend it's already happened. Write it down and how does it feel to be doing it already? That could include how does it affect your organization? How does it make it better? How does it make it easier? How does it make your life easier for you? What's more fun about it? And finally, choose a third one. Write it down. How does it feel to be doing it? Pretend it's already happened. And how does it affect you or your organization? So now I'd like you to fold the paper with your wishes or somehow make it so that you can't read what you've just written. You can fold it over, you can put it in an envelope. I want you not to focus on this right now. I want you to put it away for till March or April. Put it in an envelope, fold it over, put the date on it. So you remember what day it is, what date you did it. I don't want you to think about it. This is sort of like the theory of journalism, journaling, where you write something down, then you put it away, and in several months you look back at it and say, oh, look, that's what I was thinking on that particular day. So in March or April, you open up your list and see how has it manifested itself? Are your thoughts different about that list than it is today? So thanks for sharing your ideas and being willing to play with me, and love to all of you, and have a wonderful rest of 2024.
Does anybody have thoughts or comments, or do you want to share any of your items?
you can or not, depending on whatever you want to do with them.
Well, I'll share mine. The organization I'm working with, the first three that I put on my paper: increase profile of the volunteers, improve volunteer tools, and offer more enrichment activities. And pretending it happened with increasing the profile of the volunteers, getting them back on social media and things like that. It just makes you happy. It's very encouraging, and it helps with recruitment. It lifts people's spirits. Improving the volunteer tools, pretend it happened. It's very satisfying, and it also makes you feel more current and vibrant because you are in the moment and addressing things that are needed now with the volunteer tools. With that meaning like everything involved in the volunteer engagement process. And more enrichment activities. Every volunteer I've ever met looked forward to enrichment activities. They wanted to know when the next field trip was, when the next time a staff member that was a subject matter expert would be speaking. It makes everyone feel connected because you're sitting there learning more, and people like to learn together. So those were the three that I chose to focus on. And thank you, Fran. I always learn from this exercise every time we do it. And just every time. Love that.
Thank you, thank you. Michelle, do you have any?
So yes, actually I have one or two that I want to share. I thought it would be, so I did for the CCVA, which is my other board commitment. And I thought it would be fun to create a system so that certified volunteer administrators can keep up with all of their renewal information online somehow as it happens.
Yes,
So
thank
that
you.
when it's time to renew, you just sort of look at the list, say, did I forget anything? Click, and the button clicks to renew. You can process a credit card, and then bang, it's completely seamless. I thought that would be fun.
It would be helpful too.
It would be helpful.
Fun does not mean it's not helpful.
Oh gosh.
Sarah Gaden, would you like to share one? You don't have to.
I really care about our garden here. And there's some things that I would like to happen. In the year that I, with my garden volunteers, sort of what we want to do take shape. And one of the things that I want to do is to be able to, supplement, to be an example, an organic, sustainable, resilient example of an urban garden that is able to supplement a family of 5 or 6's produce needs as it relates to the grocery store 8 months out of the year. So something's always growing, but it's easy. For instance, the stuff that we put in the late summer months, we have an automatic drip watering system out. And I've been able to go out there and get radishes and sweet peas and all sort of things without putting any type of pesticide, without really any attention, and, families, I think that, being able to be an example of that and getting people set up with that. And then it would be really wonderful to connect with maybe with a church space that has a kitchen and do a canning event. Some of the individuals who come to us in crisis are not, they're not in any place to start a garden or grow anything. They are in a bad situation and they need to get to a better situation. But then some folks that come through are on a fixed income. And they have, they have space in their life to maybe, get some seeds, come to a volunteer Saturday and kind of get a garden culture kind of started. Because the things that you grow in a garden are the most delicious, they're the freshest, and it's just a joyful thing to do that has really sort of fallen by the wayside in just the way the modern world is. And I really am interested in setting things up. A lot of people, both people in the household work, and there's lots of other things going on in their life. But what is the easiest, most efficient, least expensive way that can get something like this started. And then I would like to fold it into some type of like canning event, and that really leads into all that. The other thing that I really care about, I love sewing. And I've been embroidering things. I'm supposed to start working on my little quilt. And at the Good Samaritan Center, we receive so much that may not be usable for clothing because it has holes or whatever. But as far as a sewing ministry, it's some of the best stuff.
Right.
And then older people pass on, and their children don't want all these things, these tablecloths, these embroidered napkins that are missing. It's like the full set's not there. And there's just all these opportunities to really make something beautiful. And, it's been in my heart since I came to be able to connect to a prison system, where once a year they picked up, all the stuff, because we put that stuff outside in the upcycling bins. And when it's not taken, we end up, we get throw it away. There's no magic place to take it. So, trying to find meaningful ways that do not put more work on our small staff, where we can reallocate some of the resources that we receive in a beautiful way. And, like the thing that would be lacking, of course, is the needles and the thread. But as far as materials, we are rich in materials. And I think that would be a really wonderful thing to be able to be a part of. There may be another organizations working on that. And then the other thing is art projects that are youth led and volunteer, heavily volunteer involved, making the 12Ks for the holidays ornament this year with JSU and Belhaven students and clients of Matt's house who are down and out. I didn't get Christmas music going, but I was able to, order everything, break it down, do an inventory, get it set up, make the examples, and then and almost step back in time in a sense, where women were together making something for, and I wish that looking back, there's a couple things I would have done differently. I wish that I had let them keep one, and talk to Kathy about that. To make one and to be able to take, as a little keepsake and a memory. That would have been a really wonderful thing to do. But how much I enjoyed facilitating that experience. And, when was the last time you sat down with a group of women that you really were crazy about and that were fun and laughed and listened to music and made something together, and that was a really, that Kathy, with all that has gone on at the Good Samaritan Center and the loss of staff and all the struggles in a nonprofit, the ups and the downs, and it's like every time something good happens, 5 terrible things happen on its heels, that I was even able to carve out that time with volunteers over the course of a week to make those ornaments was really huge. And I see the potential here. There's so many things in Midtown, in our parking lot, inside of our warehouse, that could be, youth led, things that need, small things, benches built, all types of art projects. It would be a wonderful place for the Good Samaritan Center to be a place where artists, youth connect on projects that help make the space better, beautiful. I see a lot of potential there, but it's just carving out the time and the space, given, kind of what, where we are with the food pantry and the clothes and closet and some of the struggles we have. And so those are kind of 3 of my things. I think work is joyful, should be joyful. Hearing Fran say that, like, what can make work fun? Because it should be, it should be. I think about that a lot, and just, being able to carve out the time and the space for everybody to talk about what is going on in their own work. And, because sometimes, we do something and it affects somebody else in another department, and we don't know about it because we're not coming together and talking. And so that's kind of a thing. Hopefully we'll get rolling again, because that's just kind of where we are. And, so yeah, that's in a nutshell some of the things.
Aren't we coming to, don't we have a DOVIA
Yes,
meeting?
y'all are coming in February.
February, all right. Great.
Fabulous. Look forward to it.
I look forward to hearing all about those programs in more detail.
Yay.
Sarah Gaden, if you would think about things that you might need that we could bring into you. I mean, you said needles and thread. I thought that's a fascinating idea that, all of
Yeah.
us probably have spools of thread laying around the house that we don't use.
Yeah. Well,
it-
carving out a
I think-
space, that is dedicated to that and collecting stuff over a year of, like, because it would take about a year to get up enough for it to be meaningful for, a sewing ministry, whether it be a school or a prison, somebody to come and take some of the stuff that we're not able to put in our closet, but can be used to make beautiful. I mean, like really, I think that the stuff that's made from items like that, the hodgepodge of stuff, it looks better than if you go to the store and buy a bunch of fabric new. Some of the most beautiful quilts I have ever seen were made from bits and pieces that were collected, over time. And so yes, and it's one of those things where we have to find, I got to talk to Kathy, where will be the section where this will be, housed, and who can we work with? Because whatever we do, it has to be simple enough where, we're just the collection site, and then the people who are gonna, carry it out or see it out come to us, and get that. And I don't know. It's one of those things. Another thing is everything we do is attached to the almighty dollar, something that is a horror to some of us, but is a reality. So, when everything we do has to relate back to, some type of funding, or it's not sustainable. And so, that's there too. But anyway, yes. I would love that. I would love to have a little spot where I start collecting, and hopefully in the next year find someone who, I would do it, but I'm here. So I can't.
Right.
But find somebody to bring, to get that going. Or somebody may already be doing it and we can just plug into it. I don't know.
These are all good things to explore, and we will do that when we see you in February.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Any other last comments or thoughts about the program before we wrap up? You're on mute, Elizabeth.
Okay. Just wanted to mention to Sarah that there is a Mississippi Quilt Association. Didn't know if she knew that.
Yes, I'm a member.
Then you know about it. Okay, good.
Yes.
There is a lady that is a good friend of mine who is a textiles expert. She used to be the curator at the governor's mansion, Mary Lorenz, and she knows a lot of people who quilt, mainly down in Port Gibson, I guess, when they have that big quilt. Is there a quilting? I don't think it's I don't know what it is, but she usually judges or has in the past. But Mary Lorenz, Lohrenz, and she's a huge resource when it comes to quilting. I don't know if she's in that group of yours or not.
Well, I go to because I attend some of the weekends, events. I'm a member of the Mississippi Quilt Association, but the guild that I go to is at St. Mark's Methodist Church off Grants Ferry. And a group of women they are so wonderful. And it's not just quilting, it's really fiber arts.
Person that's it covers everything. But if you look on LinkedIn, she was quilt exhibit curator for that big exhibit they did at Archives and History.
Okay.
She did the I guess it was the catalog and everything. I just was trying to offer that as a resource because she is so knowledgeable and she's been doing it for decades.
She probably knows the lay of land as far as who's doing sewing ministries and what ways we could plug in and be helpful. I know, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, you're on top of it. I just wanted to throw her name out there. She has new grandbaby and a new one coming, so I don't know how much time she has, but she is a huge resource.
Well, that's great. All right. Last thoughts, ideas, wishes, dreams, goals?
I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Fran Baker for that lovely presentation. That was great.
Thank you so much for sharing with me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, ladies, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I have 3 more meetings after this, so
Busy lady.
Happy Thursday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Bye.